Good morning, gardening friends. I'm Lark, and I'm in Wisconsin, Zone 5. I'd like to take you on a walk through the yard and see the gardens. I'm using amaranth. I believe that's called Hopi. The burgundy leaf with the red burgundy flowers. Actually, those are seeds. Amaranth is a grain. And I use the small leaves for in my salads. And this year I'm going to save the seeds also. Maybe I'll put them in my breads. I have to do a little research on that. Nasturtiums that I've been eating. And then calendula that I use for my healing salves. And body butters. And then this is a pepper called black pearls. Let's see, can you see the little black shiny peppers? Are they edible? Can anybody tell me if they're edible? I use a lot of marigolds, first of all because they're free, and second of all because they grow even in a drought, which we are in, along with a lot of you. We are expected to get a rain shower this afternoon. It's been in the low 90s here for the last 4 days, and a cold front's coming in. So what I use in this border is marigolds, corabels, perennial, and earlier in the season the foliage is more burgundy, catmint and Russian sage, and some autumn joy sedums. This is quite low maintenance for me. Gives me color throughout the season, probably until a hard freeze. These marigolds come from seed quite easily. Sorry for the bumpiness. We had a windstorm the other day with a little rain, and it just knocked the heck out of my hydrangea, my PG hydrangea. Blue carpet junipers. I used them because I was hoping to simulate water with my sandhill cranes standing in the stream. Another low maintenance pots are the coleus, sweet potato vine, and an irisine. Threadleaf, I think it's called. Gives me some nice burgundy color. And then we walk over to my raised veggie garden. Behind the burning bushes are my asparagus. And I've been trying very hard to keep it more watered so I get some asparagus next year. I don't think I was watering it enough. Been picking asparagus beetles as well as Japanese beetles that like the raspberries. Letting my lettuces go to seed so I don't have to buy seed. I've done succession planting the last couple days. I think Patrick from 1-yard revolution reminded us to do our seeding, our succession seeding of lettuces, especially in zone 5. Raised beds are working good for me, but I'm going to just walk through. I'm not going to go into too much detail. This is my lavender, which I will be harvesting a second time. I cut it back. Well, actually, I harvested it and then cut it back a little, and it's re-blooming for me. As most of you know, I grow a lot of perennial flowers, and I use some annuals, but I use the perennials to attract a lot of beneficial insects and butterflies and hummingbirds into the gardens. Deadheading bee balm is on my list. I also have comfrey back there. That's going to get harvested another time for mulch or compost. I'm going to put it on the compost pile, and I'm going to be making another oil infusion. Oh, some more cilantro. It's bolting early because it's hot here, but I did plant some more cilantro also. The phlox is re-blooming because I deadheaded it. Also, some late season bloomers are starting, like I think that's a heliopsis in the back that gives me that tall yellow where I need some brightening up. This is shade in the afternoon. Along with Joe Pye, and the grasses are starting to put their plume on. Blue lobelia, that attracts a lot of bees. It's native, and you're going to see it throughout the garden now this time of the year. I make sure I deadhead it because it is a fabulous reseeder, and it's going to get deadheaded soon because it blooms from the bottom up. So by the time I wait for the top to bloom, this bottom here has gone to seed, so I have to be very careful. It's not too hard to pull, but hundreds of seeds. Turtlehead is another late season bloomer, just starting. And probably in about a week or two I'll do another video, and might be the last one, with the goldenrods blooming. That's my arch back there, and it has on it the trumpet vine and a Jackmania clematis that is done blooming, but on that side it blooms first. Then the climbing hydrangea is on the right hand side here, and that bloomed early in spring. And now what's growing up is the sweet autumn clematis, and that'll be white on there. The hummingbirds hang out a lot back there. Carl Forrester grass, some little zebra grass, didn't get its plume on it yet. Joe Pye. I think I'll walk the back of the garden and then come this way, so I'm not going into the sun. This is my wild area right behind the perennial bed where phlox is blooming, goldenrods are starting, some bee balm in there. This is where my tree went down, the disaster. My bog veggie gardens down there. Another native plant that can be aggressive is the cup plant, and the tree went down right on top of it. But it's growing back. It's just short. It's only about 2 foot and it's setting flower now. There's one with a flower on. It's usually about 8 foot. I knew I wouldn't lose it. That root is really, really deep. Getting the seed pods on the milkweed. Summer sounds. Sculpture I made. This is a chimney sweep brush, a guard off of a fan, gold glass plates. This is a beer bottle on the other side with a spring around it. It's a stamen of my flower, and then a wine cork. And it spins. It rotates. Hosta bed, all done flowering, and I haven't taken the time to deadhead yet. This is the same area where lots of trilliums are blooming in spring. And Jack in the pulpits. I just watered this yesterday for the first time this summer and spring. The very first time, because my Japanese painted ferns were just bone dry. But these, I have tamaracks under here. Very, very big. And they suck a lot of moisture out of the ground here with the hostas. So the hostas and the other shade plants here were very happy I watered. Another native herb is jewelweed, or touch me not. It is to help poison ivy and poison sumac and poison oak if rubbed on you. You pulverize it, smush it up, and then rub it on your area where you have the rash. It's funny how God works, that this grows exactly where poison ivy grows and poison sumac. Ferns have not been watered at all. Poor. Luckily, they're very hardy. They could use a good rain. Simicifuga is getting its flower on, and it'll be very fragrant. That Simicifuga is Hillside Black Beauty. Another one of my rotating sculptures. This is off a Christmas tree stand, the red, and then a jello mold. Trumpet vine tree. Whoop, 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 whoop. This is the fireworks goldenrod that'll be blooming soon. It'll be so pretty. Don't be afraid to plant goldenrods. Especially that one is a pretty one. My blue hydrangea that's pink, and I stopped trying to making the soil acidic because it won't do it for me. So we'll just go with nature now. That clematis on there is a sweet autumn. White later on. Snake root called chocolate. A weed that'll get a pretty white flower on it, and before it reseeds I'll pull it out. Branched coneflower. Aggressive, but I pull quite a bit of it. The dark foliage is, let's see, perilla. A good bloomer for part shade too. It stays a little nicer here without having too much sun on it. I use it throughout though. This area here is new because we limbed up the trees, so we're going to put aggressive plants in here. Bee balm being one of them. This branch coneflower, another. Feverfew will go in there. Garlic chives getting ready to blossom. Make sure you deadhead those too before they go to seed, or you'll have a lot all over. Planted a bell pepper in my perennial bed, and I'll do more of that next year. I see the asters are going to start blooming too. The linum, or blue flax, is seeding, and I'm going to scatter that seed throughout the garden. Now, having a garden that is so full of perennials and scattering seed, you don't get a lot of seed coming up the next year because the light is blocked. It blocks the seed from germinating. So I'll be lucky to get some. Pretty grass. The foxtail. Smoke bush. Here I put a morning glory vine on some branches of a tree, just to give a little height at the beginning of the garden. And I'm going to have to start trimming it because it's getting aggressive. No flowers yet. Hibiscus hasn't bloomed yet. That is Copper King, I think. Soon. Should be soon. Hopefully I'll get a picture of it. When the goldenrods bloom. Snow in the summer adds that nice silver again. Looks kind of ratty for a while. And then it'll start looking good again. The butterfly weed is starting to get its seed pods on it. Another chimney sweep brush, the end of it, a blue bottle, a spool from a wire that was in some guy's garage at a rummage sale, this blue one, and then a candlestick, a pumpkin candlestick holder right here that I put into the spool, and then just a blue knob. I did put amaranth, that Hopi, in the garden. I transplanted it, and it never grew too big. It could be lack of water, but I want the seed there because it seems to come up and acclimate better if it comes from seed in the spot where you want it instead of transplanting it. If you transplant it, it needs a lot of water, like the front flagpole area. But that all reseeded from last year up by the flagpole. Hundreds of seed. I did a lot of pulling and eating. Now this path goes down to the veggie garden, the container veggie garden. One of my Japanese maples that died back down to the ground, but it's coming. A tree that went down several years ago, and I just let it lay. Fairy garden. Ooh, the berries on the Solomon seal look pretty this time of the year. The deer didn't eat these. They don't eat the berries, but they eat the leaves early in the season. They didn't eat these. I pepper sprayed though too. And then just luck probably. One of my favorite, Queen Anne's lace. Blueberries are doing okay. Now we're down in the veggie area, container garden. So I really appreciate you coming and visiting my channel. Lots of herbs down here. Lobelia, chamomile, letting it go to seed. More amaranth. My potatoes. And the pretty scarlet runner bean. Take care, my gardening friends. Bye-bye. Donna, here's the lemongrass. Yours. Doing good. I'm going to be harvesting it soon.